I'm Amy Cherry. This local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota, here to wow ya. 3 suspects, one of them a teen, face charges after being identified in a Palm Coast smoke shop theft. John Arking has more.
The Flagler County Sheriff's Office was called last Tuesday to Jaguar Smoke and Vape 2 on Palm Harbor Village Way on the report of a juvenile stealing a vape display containing about 65 vape pens valued at nearly $650. Images from surveillance footage were then shared on social media, which led to a tip the next day that the stolen merchandise was being sold in the Staples parking lot in Palm Coast. Deputies arrested 2 subjects, 16-year-old Gabriella Allo and 20-year-old Jamel Brown, while further investigation yielded a third subject, 19-year-old Nicholas Allo. Flagler County Sheriff Rick Staley thanked the community for coming forward with information that helped break the case.
Between the video from their security system to the tips and good police work by our deputies, all 3 suspects have been identified. They have been charged, and a lot of the merchandise was recovered and returned to the owner. This is a great example of the community working in partnership with the Sheriff's Office. If you see something, say something, and the community did, and we greatly appreciate the partnership.
Police say all 3 later gave full confessions after being read their rights. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm John Ark.
Cases of domestic violence in Flagler County are down 25% since 2016. Jason Lewis, the Assistant State Attorney for the 7th Judicial Circuit, says a rise in prosecutions is due to the good work of the Flagler County Sheriff's Office.
And what's even better with that is the cases that came in 2016, we were only able to file those cases at about 45%, which means out of every 100 cases that came in, 45 of them we probably could go forward. We were able to get cooperation. That number in 2019 has increased to 60%.
But what puts domestic violence cases potentially at risk of rising? A local nonprofit's dramatic decrease in funding. Trish Giacconi is CEO of the Family Life Center in Bunnell.
The Family Life Center is getting a budget reduction based on one of our state grants of $185,000, which is a significant amount of money for us. It represents about 14% of our budget, and it became effective October 1.
Lewis also credited the Family Life Center with helping curb instances of domestic violence.
Working with the Family Life Center, I think the classes that we put on and also the education and having an advocate in our office when we didn't have budget cuts was very helpful.
But as they stare down cuts that have to be made, Giacconi says they'll step up fundraising efforts and services. The organization recently won a national grant to put a kennel on site with help from the Flagler Humane Society.
Victims can now come to the shelter with their animal. We have begun ordering the materials, and we will be able to handle domestic animals, dogs, and cats, and what we call little furries. So rabbits and bunnies. It will be 2 separate areas, one for the dogs, and then a smaller kind of enclosed, air-conditioned area for the furries. We were very thoughtful about the heat here in Florida, so we do have things like misters and fans, and we want to make sure that everything is appropriate for our animals while they're staying with us.
The Family Life Center is in need of volunteers to help build the kennels, which are slated to open in the new year.
When will you vote? Will you go to the polls on Election Day? Will you or have you mailed your ballot in? Or will you early vote in person? Katie Lenhart is the Flagler County Supervisor of Elections, said that early voting is happening.
33,000 people have already voted.
Lenhart shook out the numbers.
Republicans are at 40,000, Democrats 29,000, NPAs are 22,000.
She said that as the numbers of Republicans and Democrats goes, voting early in the county is neck and neck and about 13,000 for each party. Lenhart said that of the county's 91,000 voters, a third have cast ballots early. To listen to all of the interview with Katie Lenhart, download the Flagler radio app and go to the Free for All Friday podcast. Tomorrow, the traditions of voting and making room for the throngs who are expected to vote this time. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm Rich Carroll.
Old Kings Road is getting some attention to become bigger and better. Karen Johnson has more.
Road work is in full swing on Old Kings Road to widen portions of it from 2 lanes to 4 lanes. Carl Cody, Director of Stormwater and Engineering for the City of Palm Coast.
Due to the high cost, it is going to be constructed in phases. We are starting first phase, which is a little bit south of Palm Coast Parkway, and goes a little north of Palm Coast Parkway intersection. There'll be the main improvements within this section are going to be adding some turn lanes at the intersection of Palm Coast Parkway and Old Kings Road.
The first phase is estimated to be completed the summer of 2021. Cody says traffic control will be in full force during construction, and you'll be constantly informed of traffic pattern changes.
So there'll be lane shifting, there'll be lane closures. We do hope to minimize impact to the residents during construction. There will be an ongoing shifting of those efforts as the work progresses.
Future phases 2 and 3 of the Old Kings Road widening plans, with potential construction dates for 2025, will expand the road out to 4 lanes through Forest Grove Drive. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Karen Johnson.
And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Amy Cherry.